And
Okay, and I'm going to share my screen
okay, let's get started.
and let's get started. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, and I'm going to start recording. Where does it say? Recording. Recording. I am recording now. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Okay, welcome you all, and thank you for joining me on this roller coaster ride of trying to sell our books. Marketing for Indie Authors, the dreaded M word. And it is the dreaded M word because what I hear so many times from people that have written a book and they say, oh, I feel so great. I've written this book. And I say, okay, well, now you have to go out there and sell it. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm an author, not a salesperson. Well, in today's world, and this applies to whether you're indie published, small publisher, or even with one of the big New York publishers, you have to be your own salesperson. You're an entrepreneur, like it or not. So everybody needs to learn to sell their books. I have several colleagues who are published with the Big Five and Big Four or Big Three, or however many are left now, and they no longer do all the advertising for you. They give you your advance, and they say, okay, 40% of this advance has to go for advertising. What is your platform? And so every author now is also a salesperson. So that is where we're at. And so I've been introduced, you know, my one name, I have 3 of them. Why should you listen to me? Okay, since 2015, I've published 7 novels, 2 memoirs, a collection of short stories, and a writer's resource guide. My novels have earned recognition in multiple competitions. And I was always really thrilled about that. Although I've been published under contract with 3 different publishers, all but one of my books is now indie published. I got my rights back and I do everything myself, and I like it better that way. I'm a professional reviewer for In Detail magazine. I put a lot of eyes on a lot of indie published books, as well as those published by the small publishers. So I've got a lot of eyes on a lot of books. I've tried dozens of marketing tactics. Some have worked really well. Some have been complete wastes of time and money. Basically, I've been there and done that. There's no simple answer to the best marketing strategy for your book, but I can at least provide you with some insights from my own experience. Without marketing, your book is here, okay? This looks great, right? This wonderful beach, but the problem is your book is like right there. It's a little tiny speck of sand on the world's longest beach. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of books published every month, and your book will never get found if you don't do the proper marketing. But what works? My own marketing strategy over the last 7 years has sort of looked like a Jackson Pollock painting. I've gone a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I've tried it over here and tried it over there. And I've taken notes and I've made Excel spreadsheets. And what I'm about to share with you is sort of the results of all of that I have tried. Basically, you name it and I've tried it. I've done Facebook posts and ads and boosts. I've done Facebook launch parties, which let me let you know now, those are ancient history. Last couple that I had nobody show up, that was not even a blip on the radar. I've done the Goodreads groups thing. I do daily Twitter posts under 3 different names, which is interesting. I have to always remember who's talking. I've done blog tours, both company arranged and personally scheduled. I've done paid ads on Coffee Time Romance, the Romance Reviews, and in Detail magazine. I do paid promos on Author Shout and all of the other little promo companies like that they have several different branches to each one of these. I book daily, book hearts. There's a whole bunch of them. I've done Kindle countdown deals and I still really haven't figured those out well. I haven't worked well for me. And I've done newsletters. Newsletters, by the way, are very effective. Newsletters, I would say, are right up there in the top 3 things that I do that I see a blip in my sales. And I spend hours doing book trailers, and they're fun. They're really fun and they're really cool, and they don't sell any books. Nobody looks at them. So here you are on this wonderful World Wide Web, which I love it and I hate it because it's white noise now. And it's very easy to get lost in that white noise that has become the internet. What are your choices out there to market your book? There's paid ads, Facebook, Amazon, Goodreads, and magazines such as In Detail. Which ones worked for me? Okay, disclaimer here. I receive no remuneration for any mention of any products or companies discussed here. Most of the strategies and tips I will be sharing with you tonight do pertain to the great and powerful one, Amazon, because that's the one I have the most experience with. And actually, I'll show you the stats. I'll show you my own experience, and it has worked the best for me. It's all about timing with Amazon, something called algorithms. Coordinating ads, especially for the great and powerful Zon, can improve your algorithm. So what is an algorithm? It's how the Amazon computer or gurus who run it, or Tyrannosaurus Rex, see your book and its sales. A small isolated blip in sales doesn't impress Zon. If you have a book signing, or you have a party, or you go have a holiday dinner with your family and you have 3 cousins that all buy your books within a 2-day period, it doesn't impress Amazon because they know that that's probably what's happened. You have to achieve an elevated sales trend that lasts at least several days to a week before Amazon will notice your book. Now, you want Amazon to notice your book, and I'll tell you why. But first, how do you accomplish that? Ad stacking. You run overlapping or back-to-back ads that carry over a week. You've got to plan these well in advance. Some of the ad companies are booked several weeks out or more. So you've got to scout them all out, have several windows open, and coordinate this so that if you pick 3 or 4 little places that you're going to run an ad, that they all can happen within the same week, not on the same day, but within the same week. And run a sale, especially if you have a series. If you have, this doesn't work. It will work if you only have 1 book and you drop the price. But for a series, or if you have multiple books, dropping your price to free on that first book for a limited time, which I never saw the sense of, but there is a strategy to this. Choose from the best and most affordable book promo sites, choose 3 or 4, and run them consecutively. One, the way I did it is 1 came out on a Monday, 1 came out on a Wednesday, 1 came out on a Thursday or Friday. This is a screenshot from Kindlepreneur, which is a piece of software that Dave Chesson has created. And if you are not familiar with this, or if you're not an Amazon person, and you decide to dip your toe in the Amazon pool, this is well worth the money. When I bought it, I think it was like $75. It's probably up to more than that now. But this is called KDP Rocket, and it is a piece of software that allows me to figure out what keywords and what categories to place my book in so that the right people will see it. Okay, and that's really important because I wasn't really sure what keywords to pick. I wasn't sure what categories. And here's another thing. When you go on Amazon and you look at a book and you scroll down and you see the categories at the bottom, you only see two categories, okay? They only let you pick two categories when you publish your book on Amazon. But what they don't tell you is that you can request up to 10 categories. All you have to do is email them and say, I want my book placed in these 10 categories. And within 48 hours, you give them the categories. And within 48 hours, they email you back and say, okay, your book is now in these 10 categories. So it's little secrets like this that have really made a huge, huge difference in the exposure that my books have gotten and the sales that I have gotten. So these are the ones, and this is a little outdated. I'm sure there's tons more of these small companies now that do this, but I picked 3 and I ran an experiment. And I did this just this past February. I picked eReader IQ, and they have several different branches for either free or discounted books. They're very economical. Prices start at like $10, depending on the genre. I think my genre, I paid $18. And they have a very broad direct email reach. And these companies, what they do is they have subscribers, and they have them divided into what genre do you read. And whatever genre your book is, your book gets directly emailed to their inbox on the day that you've paid for. So it's very targeted, which is important. If somebody has written an erotica book and it gets sent out to a Christian fiction audience, they're not going to be interested in the book, and vice versa. So that's why targeting is so important. I picked Free Booksy. They do have one for free, but they also have a segment of their marketing that they can do for discounted books. And then my favorite one is the Fussy Librarian. They have over 350,000 subscribers. And when I looked it up just before I came online, it says the prices are starting at $76. It wasn't that high when I did it in February. I don't know whether I looked at the wrong page or not. I only think I paid $20 or $25. But again, it depends on the genre, and it depends on the dates too. And they'll have a little calendar there, and they'll tell you what dates are available. And it's important to whatever 3 or 4 that you pick, you make sure they all fall within a 7-day period. This was my strategy. I have 5 books in one series. I made the first book in my series free for 5 days. I started on February the 5th. I started the advertising stack on day 3, which was February 8th for book 2. I dropped it from $4.99 to $1.99. The ads ran in sequence starting on day 3 over 7 days. As I said, one ran on a Monday, one on a Wednesday, and one on a Thursday or Friday. I can't remember the exact days, but that was how it went. And here was my results. These are the actual screenshots of my income, my sales. Okay. The blue line is the free books that I gave away. That was the first day that I gave away 679 books. And that was the total over 5 days that I gave away. Okay. Never ever saw the purpose in giving away a free book until I did this little experiment. On day 3, the sales for book 2 started to trickle in. Now you can't see them here because they're yellow, but you can't see them here because this is 600 and some odd, and 1 or 3 or 5 doesn't show up very well. But they were selling. I started selling books in the series. On day 3, I started selling at least 2 to 5 books a day, which I had not been doing since the first of the year. I would have like crickets for a week at a time. And here are my Kindle Unlimited page reads, which is another thing. I could do another whole seminar on Kindle Unlimited. I was so against this, but it turns out that it is really a good way to assure a steady income. And of course, we have to trust that Amazon is telling us the truth about how many pages are read, but what choice do we have? So anyway, here are my page reads. And starting on February the 7th here, I've got some page reads going on, and then they go up, and then there's a fewer, and then one of the other ads hits, and I've got page reads. Now, these are not sales, they're page reads, but these represent money. I get money for these, all right? And what I think was really interesting is that the books through the series sold. 2, 3, 4, and 5 sold. I even sold a few books that are standalones that aren't even in the series, but they are by the same author name. The key word here is read through, and that's what you want to aim for when you advertise your books. You want to hook somebody, you want to draw in a new reader who falls in love with you as an author and reads your books. The trend continued until February the 23rd, almost 2 weeks after the promotion, before it fell off. And so this proved to me that by doing this strategy that I came out in the black, not in the red, for what I spent. And I got a lot of new readers, and my mailing list grew. I think I gained like 600 subscribers during that period of time. So this strategy really worked. Why is this black? Okay. I never really saw the point of giving away free books before, other than to build my mailing.
Frances, may I interrupt for just a moment? I don't know if anybody else has questions, but I have a couple questions. How were you able to get subscribers? Do you have a subscribe inside your ebook where people can click to go to subscribe, or did you use a different method?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
There's a link in each one of the ebooks at the end that says, please sign up for my mailing list. There's also a link to my website, and then there's a pop-up that says subscribe to my mailing list.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, that free book that I gave away brought me lots of new readers on board, who many of them read through and bought other books in my series, and even those the ones not in my series, but by the same author. Even readers who didn't buy my books, if they are in Kindle Unlimited, they read them, which meant cash in my pocket. The biggest lesson I learned here is that when the Amazon bot sees an uptick in sales that lasts for more than 3 days, they jump on board to help you. They bring your book up on comparable pages and in email recommendations with no request by you or money out of your pocket. I did not pay for Amazon advertising, but being that I'm on Amazon mailing list, I got an email that brought up, you might be interested in these books. And one of those books was mine, because they saw that it was selling. So they want to make money too. If your book is selling, then they make money too. So it's a way to get Amazon on board to help you market your book. And this is the result. So between the two of you, you can make it a profitable arrangement. And this was the bonus. This illustrates royalties. This is not books. I mean, different colors are the different books. Every different color refers to a different book. This illustrates the royalties I earned from sales and page reads. And as you can see, pre-promo, this is when my promo started here, okay? But pre-promo, first part of January, it was like, I had a little bit here and then nothing, and then a little bit here and then a little bit here, and then absolutely crickets, nothing, and a little here. And then on February 1st, I sent out a mailing list newsletter that said, hey guys, I have an upcoming promo. I'm going to be giving away book 1 in the series. So, and I think, as a matter of fact, that this here is book 1. And as you can see, on this day, nobody bought book 1 because they knew they were going to be able to get it free. Nobody bought it until February 22nd, but they bought the other books. So there was this big sales spike here after the newsletter. Then it was quiet for a few days, and then the ads started kicking in. And then, as you can see, it went well past when those ads expired, and it's still going. This was as far as I had screenshotted, but it's still going. And I have not done any other promotions, paid promotions since then. So it is sustainable. The trend continued from early February well into April. So this is okay. It's an Amazon strategy, and one that only works completely if you are exclusive to Amazon with ebooks. But what about going wide? Because I know a lot of people are anti-Amazon, and that's okay. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to just kick Amazon to the curb and I'm going wide. All right, well, it didn't go so good for me. My going wide experience. I published 5 books through Draft2Digital and Kobo in early 2020. In a year's time, an entire year, I sold a total of 5 books through non-Amazon channels. And that's pretty much what I was hearing. Nothing else sold. So during this time, all right, shut up with the crickets. During this time, I spent several $100s on promotions. I joined promo groups. I did daily or weekly shout outs on Facebook and Twitter. I sent out regular newsletters. Going wide did not work for me. Having all of that, and there's a lot of work to that. There's a lot of work to setting it up through Draft2Digital and Kobo, because it has to be several different formats and you have to keep track of everything. And it was a lot of work that I could have spent writing, and I didn't. And I spent a lot of money, and I sold 5 books that weren't on Amazon. So that's just, for me, it didn't work. Paid promos, a case study. Goodreads giveaways are highly touted. They're expensive, but they are targeted mainly to promote books that are published by the big New York publishers. Those are the ones who are buying these ads, and those are the ones who are pushing these giveaways. And there's a very questionable return on investment. Craig Martell, who is an international best-selling author of fantasy and sci-fi, he recently did a 5-book premium giveaway, 5 paperback books on Goodreads. He paid $599 for the privilege, and over 4,000 people entered the giveaway. He promoted it widely over his extensive network. I mean, he's an international best-selling author, so he's got the followers, okay? When the giveaway was over, he had to sign, package up 5 books that he bought himself and send them out at his own expense. Did he see an uptick in sales after the giveaway ended? He did not. He heard crickets. He could not believe that there was not a single uptick in sales after giving out all of those books. He suggests.
Can I just interrupt you there, because there is an ebook option as well on Goodreads, which is very, very profitable and very good to do.
Okay, I'm glad somebody has had profit with that, because he did. He's
given books. I'm giving ebooks, which only costs $99, and it gets you really good results. It gets you really good reviews, and it does get you more people adding the books to their bookshelf in Goodreads, and it actually does work.
It's actually
the ebook one's good. The book one's crap.
Okay, he is doing one for ebooks now, and from what I understand, that Goodreads provides the ebooks to the winners. You don't even have to pay for them. Is that true?
That's correct. So that's why the $99 or $100, whatever it is actually a good spend, because you nominate the 100 and they send the ebook. So it costs you just the $100. So it's actually really
right.
good. It's worth.
Yeah, so he does recommend using the ebook option as far as Goodreads giveaways. And he also said that it's really good to use that ebook giveaway as a pre-publication promotion, because the after promo sales weren't there, but you do get your name on all of the want to read lists. You attract new readers, you get more reviews, and the advertising amps up the hype of a new release.
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah, it's a pre-release strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of Craig Martelle, I beg you to go to Facebook and join this group. It's the best Facebook group I have found for learning the ins and outs of marketing. It's not just romance, it's every genre under the sun, but it's very general and broad-based advice on many areas of writing and publishing. He provides a tribe. He gives you a group of like-minded people who all want to share their experience and help other authors. And it's, I go to it daily. He does a 5-minute focus every morning, which is sort of like a pep talk for writers. He talks about everything from motivation to, outlining. I mean, he's really great. I love him. And I have learned so much. That strategy that I used of ad stacking, I learned from Craig Martelle. So I highly recommend that you join that group. And the other thing is, unlike a lot of Facebook groups, Craig looks at every single post before it goes live. So there you don't get a bunch of crap and you don't get a bunch of repeat questions. He says right on the Facebook page, if you have a question, search the page, search the group first before we get a lot of repetitious posts. It's very well handled. So how else can we market our books? In reality, this seminar, I could go on for a month or longer, but I will touch on a few other strategies that I have personal experience with. Facebook ads, they're pretty cheap. They can be pretty cheap. So I found targeting a little bit. I have trouble with targeting, but anyway, they are complicated, I found, to target your audience accurately. Amazon ads, they can get expensive. And the mistake I made is that I said, oh, this is great. I can say I'm only going to spend $3 a day. But I didn't tick the box that said end it on such and such a date. So it went on and on and on like the ever ready bunny. And at the end of the month, I got this bill for over $100 and said, oh crap, I guess I better go turn off the Amazon ad. So be careful when you use Amazon ads. You have to be very, very careful about what buttons you click. I highly recommend that you look up this gentleman's free videos on YouTube. He has written a couple of books. I own them all, and I've read them cover to cover. And his videos explain a lot of how to use Facebook and Amazon ads to market your book. Highly recommend. You can buy banners on websites such as the Romance Reviews. I think that one in particular, as long as you have their little icon on your website, they give you a free little ad on their homepage every month, if you can remember to put it up there, which I unfortunately seldom do. I need to set a reminder that comes up on the first of the month. But anyway, that's another way to advertise. Blog and newsletter swaps with like authors will get you exposed to other audiences that don't know about you, but know about an author that writes books that are like yours. BookBub. Okay. I have never gotten one. I think it's like trying to win the lottery. Some people say you need X number of reviews. Some people say it's like the lottery. I have personally know an author who only had 18 reviews on her book, and she got a BookBub ad, but they're very expensive and like $1,000 expensive for one day. Very targeted, but they are hard to get and they're expensive. Craig Martelle is doing one right now, and he's going to report back to the group with the results. And we're all anxiously waiting to see how he makes out. The colleague of mine that got one, she made money. She spent $1,000 and she ended up selling $1,800 worth of books. So it's
I've done quite a few. I do 3 or 4 or 5 a year.
Wow. What's your secret?
Well, I hit USA Today with my first one. So I think if you sell well, they'll do it. But I still get turned down every now and then. It depends who else is trying to get one and what time of year. And I think if you're trying to begin with, try for a free. So if you've got a series, I think it's much easier to get a free one, advertising a free book than it is to get a 99 cent or a 1.99.
Okay. I've always tried for 99 cents or up. I've never tried, because I told you didn't see the sense before now of giving away a free book, but now I do. So maybe I'll go back and give that another try. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always make my money back, always, and then some.
Well, then it's worth. So if you get a BookBub ad and you spend X number of dollars on it and you're giving away free books, you sell other books and you come out ahead. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a series. You've got to have a series to make the free work, obviously.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing that. I'll have to go back and try again. And then there's ads in online magazines like such as In Detail. I don't know how many of you are familiar with In Detail. I actually am a reviewer for In Detail, and they also have very reasonable ad rates. This was the ad that just came out in their April issue. They have somebody that'll make up an ad for you for like $30. And I have seen a definite increase in sales since that ad came out. So check out In Detail's website and tell TJ I sent you. So anyway, the World Wide Web is a fantastic new realm for advertising, but don't be like Dorothy. There's no place like home. Don't overlook the audience in your own backyard. I have had tremendous success with in-person book signings. No, they are not dead. Paperbacks are alive and well, and there's a lot of people out there that will not read on a Kindle. They still want a paperback or a hardcover book in their hands. I held 2 of my signings in museums. I got ahead of myself there, sorry. How do you get a book signing? Okay, you call or visit local booksellers. We have a locally owned bookshop here in town. Every time I have a new book out, she hosts me for a book signing. The library, both libraries in my town have hosted me for book signings. If your book is set in a different location and you're willing to travel, contact the booksellers and libraries there. I've had success with that as well. One of my books is set in upstate New York, and it was the biggest signing I ever had. Show up with an armful of books to get your event booked. If you walk in to a small bookstore and you say, I'm an author and I wrote this book and I'd like to have a signing, and they look at you like, yeah, you and 10,000 other people. But if you go in there with one of each of your 3 or 4 or however many books you have, and you say, these are my books and I would like to have a book signing, they are much more likely to take you seriously. Do not count on big stores like Barnes & Noble unless your book is published through Ingram and is returnable. Most will not take books on consignment, and they will not order from Amazon. I have learned this the hard way. I had a small publisher set up a book signing for me in a huge Barnes & Noble in Tampa when I was living in Florida. And it's completely out of your control. The Barnes & Noble manager will order as many books as they want. This guy, I don't know where he was coming from, but he ordered 100 of my books from Ingram, 100. I sold 10. That's fine and dandy, but after 3 months, he still had 84 books. He sent them back. And my publisher had to not only refund the money for the books, but she had to pay for the shipping. Then she wanted me to pay for that. So it gets very complicated and very expensive. Just a little from personal experience. Think outside the box. Does your book feature a hairdresser heroine? Go to your local salon. Ask if they'd be willing to host a signing. I recently did a signing in a museum. I've done 2 museum signings, one in a little bitty town in upstate New York where the book was set, and one in Grafton, Massachusetts, which is a little bitty town. And they were both the biggest signings that I had because people absolutely love books about their hometown. So that's just thinking outside the box. And the museum was like, they were like, yes, please come, set up, sell. It was great. There's also group events, groups that hold annual events at places like wineries. I did a signing at a winery down in Pennsylvania a couple of years ago before COVID. And it was fantastic. It was when I was still drinking, which made it even better. They had 10 tables set up in their event room, and you had people coming in all day tasting wine, walking around with their wine in their hands and looking at your books. And it was great fun. And then there's conferences. And I don't know how many of you have attended an author reader conference, but it was a completely out of the mind concept to me. I knew as an author, I was going to have to pay $75 to attend and have a table to sell my book. The readers paid tickets to come hear us talk and then walk through the room with all the book tables. It was amazing. I had people sitting at my table. They have a luncheon. And well, yeah, bottom line, people don't want a sales pitch, they want a reality show. I had people sitting at my table that had flown in from 3 states away to listen to me talk and to buy my books. It was unbelievable. But you have to look the part. So I spent a little money on a banner, and I spent a little money on some swag, and that's the thing. You have to connect on a personal level with the readers. Timing, however, is everything. My first book was released February 19th. No, yes, February 19th of 2015. That's what the venue looked like the morning of my signing. Needless to say, it did not draw that many people. The other thing is don't hold a signing when the kids are off school and everybody's out on vacation, because they're not going to want to be indoors at a book signing either. Pick a time of year that's neutral when no other big events are scheduled. And spread the word about your signing. Send out press releases. You can go online and get a press release template and just fill in the blanks, send it to your local newspaper and local radio station. I was actually interviewed by a local radio station. They had me come to the station and they filmed me, and it was great. It was on the local news. It showed up in the newspaper. That stuff is free. Just takes a little time. I printed up flyers at Staples for 65 cents a piece. I got these beautiful color flyers that were like photo quality. And I took them around to the local businesses and asked them to put them up. Create an event page on Facebook. That's free. Or if you want to boost it, it's not that expensive. Post the event on your Goodreads and Amazon author profile pages. And if it's local to where you live, leave a flyer or a bookmark or a postcard or a business card everywhere you go. These are the things to remember, which I learned the hard way about book signings. Bring plenty of books, at least 10 of each title. Bring change for cash purchases, because people will hand you a 20, and if the book is $12, you can't make change, it gets very awkward. I almost did that this past weekend. I remembered on Saturday morning I had not gotten change for the Sunday signing. Fortunately, my daughter's bank was open on the weekends and we went in and we made change. So make sure you have change. Get a digital device like a Square or SumUp to plug into your phone so you can accept credit cards. I would have lost 3 sales at the last signing had I not been able to accept a credit card. And for God's sakes, bring a pen. I went to the first 5 signings that I ever did and had to borrow a pen. Talk about being embarrassed. So now I bring like 10 pens and practice your signature. I mean, I know how to sign my name, but how often do I sign my pen names? You have to practice so that they don't look like you've got, you know, some sort of a, well, I do have nerve damage in my right hand, but that's no excuse for a funky looking signature. Anyway, practice your signature and bring your best smile. Get to know them virtually, Facebook and Twitter posts about subjects other than your books. It's not all about buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. It's my cat did this. Here's a picture of my orchids, my orchid collection. This is me riding my horse. They want to know you, that you're a real person. Blog about things that are universal. Blog about family events or things that you're upset about or things that touched you. Or blogging from the heart connects you to other human beings, other readers. And send out newsletters. They make your fans feel special. Ask for their feedback on things. I was changing all my covers a couple of months ago. I sent out a newsletter and said, okay, anybody, here's the 2 covers. Which one do you like best? And I'm going to pick one name out of the bin and I'm going to send a paperback, signed paperback to you. If you're outside the country, I'll send you an Amazon gift card. And I got lots of people who responded. They like to be asked for their opinion. And then this is my secret weapon, which everybody thinks I'm nuts, but it really works. I call it my Hansel and Gretel technique, my breadcrumb strategy. You think business cards are out of style? Think again. I always carry author business cards in my purse. Then everywhere I go, I take my purse with me into the ladies' room. Yes, the ladies' room. And I leave business cards on the counter behind the sink or tucked into the corner of the mirror. You would not believe how many sales I've seen, a bump in sales after we've gone out of town. We've gone to, you know, we travel a lot, and everywhere I go, every time I gotta go to the bathroom, I take my cards, and for the next week, I see a spike in sales because of those business cards that I've left in the bathroom. Here's my recommendations. Join the 20 Books to 50 Gate Facebook page. You will not be sorry. Look into Dave Chesson's KDP Rocket if you are on Amazon. Make up some business cards to leave as breadcrumbs, and do not ignore the potential of readers in your own backyard. Write the next book, because the best thing you can do to sell the ones you've already written is to come out with something new. So that's my thing. Thank you for joining me on this roller coaster ride. And that's my email address if you have any questions, and there's my other 2 personas that I never really know who I am. I actually answer to all 3 names, which is sort of embarrassing. I was in the hospital one day waiting for a test. I'm a cancer survivor, and I was waiting for an MRI, and I'm sitting in there, and I've got my laptop and I'm working on a book. And the nurse comes in with a clipboard and she goes, Claire? And I closed my laptop and stood up and realized that there was this little old lady shuffling toward her. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not really Claire Jim. I'm really Frances Brown here. So it gets confusing sometimes, but that's my spiel. And I did it under 45 minutes. Ta-da, I talked really fast. I guess I could have been an auctioneer after all. And now, if anybody has any questions, I will do my best to try to answer them.
Thank you very much, Frances. I appreciate the time you spent on this.
I hope it was of use to you guys. I hope somebody
found it
picked
very
up at least
enlightening.
one little tip. I'm
Very
sorry?
enlightening. I found it very enlightening. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Bronwyn,
Yeah,
were you going to say
really
something?
useful stuff. I was just saying it's all useful stuff. I think one of the other things that I find is I'm a member of the Books to 50K, the 50 Books 20K. It's been with that group for a while, but also finding good Facebook groups of authors who write similar material to what you write. I think that's really, really important, because I think still one of the best marketing tools is doing anthologies with other authors, and you get to meet the people that write the same to you if you join groups that you know. So I write Regency Historicals, so obviously I belong to groups where there's a strong historical presence as well, and then you can actually build those relationships with the other authors, and it also gives you another book to promote during the year, which also keeps your name up in the algorithms. So I always try to look at my publishing schedule as one of my marketing tools if you're looking at trying to keep the Zon algorithm up. So I might put 2 of my books together and do a box set, or I might do a box set with somebody else, or I might do a novella, so that you've got an ongoing publishing schedule that you can keep up with, because I'm a really, really, really slow writer. I'm lucky if I get 3 books a year. So popping out the odd novella is quite good at times too. So I think part of your marketing strategy has to be your publishing schedule and how you can keep your name out there, so that Amazon sees that you're not just doing 1 or 2 books a year.
Yeah, that's really important. I know even authors like big New York authors like Simone St. James. I love her, but she only writes like 1 book every year or 2, and you forget about her. And what you're saying is absolutely true, and that's very good advice. Thank you for sharing that.
Erica, do you have anything to share with
Hi.
us?
This is Erica.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you show us the business cards that you leave behind? Do you add a QR code to it? What kind of information you put on that card?
Business cards?
Yeah, that they said you put your business cards on.
The ones I leave in the bathroom, you mean?
Yes, I'm just curious to see what you put in it, because I've seen cards where people put the QR codes on it, so you can just point at your phone with it and it goes straight to the book page. So I'm just curious to see.
Okay, I have 2 of them here. I'm going to let's see.
Yeah. Francis, why don't you stop the
Stop.
screen share so that when you hold them up, we can actually see them. There, you're great.
Okay. So I write historical romance for Dragonblade, and this is my, well, it's going to be backwards for you guys.
No, we can see it fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a medieval kind of a picture. It's my website, and it says, what does it say? Medieval romance. That's all it says. There's nothing on the back. Okay.
Cool.
But it's enough to intrigue. And these are cheap. These were like $20 for 500 of them at Staples. So
that's a great image. If I saw that in the ladies' room, I would definitely pick it up to look at it.
okay.
So what's grabbing the people is the image. So I'm curious. I wanted to know, because when you think of business card, you think something that's going to have like an email and a website. So
Yeah.
this is it's almost like a little mini postcard.
Yes.
In-
Pixabay.
Yes.
Pixabay, you can go on Pixabay and they are all free and there's no royalty. You can use them for whatever you want. And I just pick an image that reflects what I'm trying to sell. Now, this is the one that I drew up for Claire Gem. I did this with Vistaprint, and because it's colorful and pretty and
Yes.
it's square, so it's odd. But then on the back, I have, well, you probably can't see it. It has my, what does it say?
Yeah.
Award-winning novelist, and it's got my website, Facebook, and Twitter information on the back. And this is actually the last one. I ordered 250 of these because they were a little more expensive, and I've given them all away. And what's funny is, like, if we go to I also show cats. I show Persian cats, and we'll be at
I have a Persian.
Yeah, I read them.
I have a blue point Persian.
Oh, okay. Well, so
Yes.
Anyway, if we're at a cat show at a hotel all weekend and I go in and I put, business cards up. Now I know that housekeeping comes in and probably takes them down, but they don't come in every 2 or 3 hours. And obviously, because there's never any toilet paper, but they're gone. I have to re-put them up because people from the public are coming in, using the bathroom, and they're taking the business cards with them. So it's my little secret weapon, and now it's yours too.
Well, another thing that you might consider that I had some success with is making bookmarks with my covers on them, and then the titles, and like you did, the contact information, website, email, etc. So the only trouble is every time you get a new book, then your bookmarks are outdated.
Yeah, yeah, that's, I wrestled with a signature bar for my email. And I have to change it every time I either change the cover or change, and it's not worth it to me. So, but it is, those make great bookmarks though, because
Mhm.
you can line them up and then they make the size of a bookmark.
Mhm.
One of the best merchandise tools that I find for book launches and things is I do the book covers on your glass cleaners, the cloths that you clean your screens or
Oh.
you clean your glasses with.
Oh, really?
And people just love them because they actually use them all the time, and your book is sitting right there every time they clean their glasses or every time they can clean their iPad screen or their computer screen, and
That's
they
a
work
great
pretty
idea.
well.
That is
They
a
work
great
pretty
idea.
well.
Can vouch for that because I got one of those at a conference, and I still have it. The conference was like 3-4 years ago, and I use it all the time.
Yep, that's a great idea. I had
And
not thought of that.
yeah.
When that reader author conference that I told you I went to, one of the authors had their book and logo and whatever on this thing that they gave out in the goodie bag, and nobody could figure out what it was. And finally, at the end of the conference, we all asked her, we don't want to seem stupid, but what is this? And it was a portable flower vase. It was a plastic flat thing that you could open up and put water in to put flowers in. I never used it. And and those are expensive. I just wondered why you would pick something like that. But anyway, it got some attention anyway, because nobody knew what it was.
You can
Yeah, I
also
think
use
it's
those
always
as
good to use
a
things that people use.
you can also use those as just a portable glass to put in your purse so that if you're somewhere and you need water, you have something to put it in. But you're right. I like the idea of the cloth better because you're constantly in front of somebody's.
I do too.
You're reminding people
Yeah.
of yourself. Yeah, great idea, Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do work. I can't tell you the number of people that will come up to me and wave the thing in my face and say I've still got it.
What company do you get them through, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, they'll be different because I'm in New Zealand, so I use a New Zealand supplier, but you'll have someone overseas who does them. I mean, there's plenty of places that do them if you Google, and you can get different sizes, so you can do little tiny ones or you can do big ones.
Because it's something I always need and I never have. So
Yeah.
that's why I would probably use my own as much as I would be giving them away.
Yeah. So you can get they're fairly, for the little ones, it's fairly cheap for the longer print runs. So and if you do a bigger one, you could maybe put 4 book covers on a bigger one or something like that. So if you're doing a series, they're quite good for that as well. But yeah. That's really the only giveaways I bother doing is those cloths because I think they're worthwhile doing. Yeah.
Have any of you ever heard of
for any book signings for a while?
Have any of you ever heard of a book bone? Let me show you what they are real quick. They're plastic and they're weighted, and so that when you have your book open, you put it on the book and it holds the book open and you can get your printing on there. And I think when I got these, I think that I paid like $5 each for them. But then at book signings, when I go to book signings and I'm selling my books, I have the book bones there and I sell them for $7.50 and people buy them too. So, and it has,
that's a good idea.
Paula Judith Johnson and website on there and email on there. So I know you can't see it very well, but They're,
I never even knew such a thing existed.
Yeah.
Book bone. Okay, I'll have to
and
look that
it's
up.
plastic and it's,
The only thing I'd say is,
and I think that.
yeah,
you
the
can
only
just-
thing I'd say is someone like me, I prefer a paper bookmark because it's plastic, and I'm trying not to use plastic. So,
Yeah, I
you know,
I
if you
actually
get
know
in-
people who
if you get into
knit
the
while they
environmental
read.
argument,
Yeah, I know people who knit while they
Mm.
read, or people who get these so that it holds their cookbooks open while they're cooking. So, you know, it's just
I
something
use
else
my
that,
stapler.
yeah.
whatever
So,
works for you. You know, that's one of the big things, is whatever works for you is what you should keep doing. You know, so like being all is, like you say, you just got to trial these things and see what works and what doesn't. So, you know, you're always learning.
Yeah,
It's never ending.
okay. So do we have any more questions for Frances, or any other comments that you'd like to share with the rest of us? A replay will be up, I hope, tomorrow. You always hope that you got technology right, but I think we've got it covered on both sides. Frances recorded and I recorded too, so between the two of us.
I'm still recording. Should I end the recording? I guess I should, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's about time, but do we have any other
I think,
questions? Pardon me?
no, I just thank you so much, Frances, for your time. It was very appreciated.